Hey guys, Whip here. Welcome back to another video by VarietyMMOs. Today we're going to be talking about a level 40 to level 75 leveling guide. So this guide assumes that you just follow the level 1 to level 40 leveling guide and assumes that you are a relatively new player that does not have all the extras like XP tickets or alt characters of a higher level to boost you. So if you are a new character, this guide is perfect for you and aimed specifically for you and not veteran players. Okay, so there is a lot to explain in this video. So let's begin with advanced quests. So when you level up, you will get a mission from Coffee, which is located somewhere in here. And this quest will tell you to go and do an advanced quest, as you can see right here. And as a reward when you complete these, you will get tokens. Specifically, the tokens that we are talking about are... We are talking about advanced capsules A, B, and C. There are also capsules D, E, and F, but we're not going to be talking about them for now. We're going to be focusing on A, B, and C. So when you've done the Coffee's quest, you should have some A capsules and maybe even some other capsules. So how these are used is you go to the quest counter and you go to subquest, advanced quest, and you look at the mission. So the way to know where you're doing here is down here. It says, requires payment of advanced capsule A, one of them. And down here we have B, C. So the missions always go A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C. So it kind of works like rock, paper, scissors. So you complete the A mission to get B capsules. So for example, you complete the forest for volcano. Then you can use the volcano caps that you get from doing the volcano to complete the desert. Then you can do the desert to get A's and go back to the forest. Of course, you can do this with any combination. For example, you can do forest to get B's and then use the B's in tundra. So you can do it any combination that you want. So if we select these, you'll notice up here that you get a 100% XP bonus for doing this. This is why people actually do these for the XP, for the leveling. So for the very hards, which you can do at level 50, at level 40 and above actually, this will cost you one capsule of A, B, or C depending on the mission. If you try to do a super hard, it will require E, D, E, F, and it will require 10 of them. You can turn, for example, A into D, but it'll cost 10 A's per D, and you need 10 D's. So effectively, it costs you 100 A's to get into one super hard D mission. More about that later. So let's go into very hard and go into the quest and go okay. So at this point, you're probably at level 40-ish and you have some caps. So let's go into the mission and talk a little bit about entering and how it works. So when doing these missions, make sure that you're using your XP boosters that you have received from various places. And also make sure, especially if you're premium, to use your boosters to get more XP and other stats. So how this works is, if you do not have material storage, then you need to have your caps on you. You walk up to the door and you have two options. You can pay separately, so you can have each team member pay for themselves, or you can pay for everyone as leader. So we're going to go confirm. So up here it tells you what's required and it tells you about threat level. So threat level is basically like how many rare mobs you have spawn. And the more rare mobs spawn, the more XP and the more gold you want. So you always want to be doing on the highest threat. You can raise the threat level by spending caps. So you can spend 50 caps and get it up to level 50. Note that if this only counts for the leader. So if the leader is level 50, then everybody, like the whole run is level 50. So whoever's the leader has to be 50 risk, otherwise this is nowhere near as effective. if you have a friend that played on the Xbox or has played before you, they can use their caps to get you in extremely easy. If for some reason you don't have any caps, you can go in here and buy the caps down here, but they are super expensive and I really do not recommend doing this because it's straight up not worth it. So once you have confirmed the threat at level 50 and used your 50 caps, then you'll use confirm and it will open the gate, and then you will go in and do the mission. So we're going to jump to a video and I'm going to show you kind of how it's done at a high level gameplay. Okay, so here is one of my runs. We're going in here as a 4-man and we are killing mobs as fast as we can to try to get PCE bursts. So the first thing you want to note is that I run deep into the corner to make mobs spawn. Make sure you always check every corner and don't skip them. Here you will see a very important spawn, which will be a silver dog, as you can see located there, and I tell my party members, you really want to make sure that you're XP boosted for these, because these are really rare, and when it dies, you'll see a massive XP drop, as you saw just there. So whenever you see one of those, you're going to want to make sure that your entire party's boosted up before you go and kill it. So you're going to want to run to every corner of the map as fast as possible, and kill the mobs as fast as possible. PCE burst, which is located up here, when you get to level 8, it'll get a burst to happen. However, it goes down over time. So if you are too weak, don't get enough mob spawns, or if you spend too much time looting, the time counts too much. Because as you can see here, with level 5 and level 4, it actually goes back towards 0 the longer you take. So it's less chance of getting a burst to happen. So when you're running around and doing boosts, run to the very corners, spawn as much as you can, and run around as a party. Because if you're too far away from your party members, they don't actually get XP. So make sure you stick together as a party. Okay, so this is the bit of running around and trying to get a PCE burst. So let's have a look at a PCE burst. Okay, so here we have a successful PCE burst. You want to pay attention to the bottom left hand corner of the screen beside the player names. You'll see a white lit up light. This means that somebody's mag is available. You want to wait for all of these lights to light up, and then somebody's going to drop down and click their mag button, and they're going to hold it. And a big blue circle will appear, which will tell other people to drop down and use their mag on top of them. This will make the mag stay out longer and do more damage. So we're about to do it, and it'll show you why the mags are so important. I will show you what mag to do this with later. So as you can see, we got all 4 people to use their mags, and now they're all going to summon. Watch the timer up the top and watch what happens to all of the mobs. So as you can see here, a lot of mobs are getting pulled into the black hole and getting absolutely obliterated by our mags. This is helpful even at max strength like we are now, but even more helpful for parties that don't necessarily have, really good gear, because it does help keep the PCE burst going much longer. So using the method of the gun, standing in a corner, make sure that you're always in a corner when doing this. And the mags, as you can see that we're doing on repeat, you can make a burst go for a long time. So right now you can see that I am level 71, about 3/4 in. So let's jump forward to the end of the burst and let's have a look at how much XP that we have. Okay, so as you can see, about 9 to 10 minutes later, we're still bursting, and you can see that my level is level 73 and about a 5th of the way in, maybe a 6th. So I've gained about a level and a half or level and 3/4 in about 10 minutes. And the maximum level is 75, so that's actually extreme leveling. And I'm not using a lot of XP boosters. I'm not using many at all, actually. So the XP when doing this method is actually a lot of XP. So now that we've talked about how to run around and how to activate PCE bursts and do them, let's go and have a look at the other items that you require to successfully do this method. So we now know how to get into the advanced quest, how the token system works, and about running into the corners, finding dogs, and standing in a corner when fighting mobs. So let's go move on from the corner. So the reason that you're in a corner is because you're facing on an angle, and let's say the mobs spawn over here and spawn over here. If you're facing in this direction and shooting with a gun, your character will automatically turn from side to side and shoot these mobs. The reason that you want to do this is because you're going to spend a lot of time in here, and honestly, you can put anime or whatever else on another screen while you're grinding away. It's much easier than doing another method. You can also use a wand for this method, which allows you to move faster, and is probably more powerful than the method that I'm about to teach you. However, it does require a wand, which goes for quite a lot of money, and a bit more advanced tactics for people that aren't doing their first ult, so I'm not actually going to cover it in this video. So, advanced quests are used to level your character to level 75. But what you may not realize is that each different class uses different weapons. So imagine for a moment that you level a class to 75 and then you get another class and you have to get another upgraded weapon to level the class. So as you can imagine, doing that again and again is quite painful, to say the least. But there is a way around it. So we're going to take advantage of the alt class system to do this. I will try to explain this slowly. So some weapons in the game require different stats to equip. So let's go to loadouts and equipped to, I believe it's the here we go, the fighter. Okay, so let's go into character information and look here. So right now, our main class, which is the class that's getting the XP, is fighter. Our subclass is ranger. And the weapon that we're using is a gun. So if you go to your weapon, you'll notice that this weapon's requirement is 450 dex. Any class can use a weapon that requires dex. So this can be used on any class, which is how we're bypassing the requirement of getting a different weapon for every class. So what you do is you get a weapon that's pretty powerful, upgrade it to plus 30, and make sure it has a dex requirement. There are two main ways to get dex if you don't have the dex required to wear whatever your weapon that you want. One would be the mag that you have. In here, I have a mag that has 114 dex. You can get this by feeding your mag discs, which are located in this tab here. That's how you're going to get your dex up on your mags. Or you can use the food, which is really expensive, which I honestly wouldn't do. So that combined with the ranger class, which you're going to have your subclass. If you go to learn class skills, you can go into ranger. And this isn't the best setup, but you can go into ranger or gunner. And then you can add dex. So as you can see here, there's dex, and more dex here. So using the ranger class, you can get a bunch of dex combined with the dex from the mag, so you can wear the weapon. So now that we've got the dex, you can wear this weapon, meaning any class. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into here, and you're going to change your class to anything. Let's change it to a bouncer. A braver, sorry. I still have the gun, and I can still use the gun abilities because I have the ranger class as my sub. So the main class will get your XP, and the subclass is what you're playing with. So I'm going to use this subclass to use this same gun on all of my mains. And as soon as a main hits level 75, I'm going to go change my class to another class. Let's change to the Force, and then I'm going to go back in there and do the same thing. I'm going to do more advanced quests, and I'm going to use the same gun and the same abilities all the way through. And the only two abilities that you need to be focusing on would be steady shot and just normal attack. So normal attack will get back your PP, and your steady shot will use your PP. And use these in conjunction with your mag like I showed you earlier. And this is the method for leveling all of your classes really quickly without having to get multiple weapons and without having to delay. I personally leveled a class solo without really knowing what I was doing, and it probably took me at least 50 hours at the very minimum because I didn't really know what I was doing. And using this method here, I'm able to level 2, 3, 4 classes a day. So you can get through them extremely quickly if you want to do this. There is something I want to mention though. You will get more XP by doing the very hard advanced quest. I don't care what anyone says. if you have a decent party that is not super OP and doesn't have all gear, your best bet is to go very hard. You will get more XP. It's just fact. However, super hard, if you slow down and do super hard with the same method, which is pretty difficult, you will get more money and better items and everything out of it. It's the fact. If you want to take the super slow route and go super hard and get more items, you can. But if you want to go to the route and getting all of your characters level 75 quickly, very hard is the method. So I will put a link below the video, but when you get your classes to level 75, you get a permanent stat bonus. And you get titles in here. And when you get all of your classes to level 75, you get like a couple hundred permanent stat boosts that go into all of your classes, so it makes you more powerful as well. And once your class is at max level, then you can go do whatever you want. But if you want to level up, the fastest way is definitely to follow the advanced, very hard quests. Okay, so that covers everything for today's video. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.